In the heart-wrenching depths of slavery's grip, a chilling reality unfolded. A reality too often obscured by sanitized narratives of the past. Imagine a world where the sanctity of family is a mere illusion, where the bonds of love are shattered with ruthless abandon. In the Americas, slavery was such a practice, which not only defied the basic tenets of humanity, but also corrupted the social, political, and economic fabric of the society. Yet, this brutal reality is frequently glossed over in our recounting of history. Here, amidst the cruelty of human bondage, any slave could be ripped from their loved ones at a master's will. Babies torn from their mother's arms, wives forcibly separated from husbands, and innocent children condemned to lives of servitude before tasting the sweetness of freedom. But the horrors don't end with the wrenching apart of families. Nevertheless, behind closed doors, within the walls of their masters' estates, slaves faced a nightmare of a different kind. One where their bodies were no longer their own, but mere playthings for their masters' darkest desires. Amidst these ranks stood both pillars of their communities and vile predators. Their actions shattered the lives of those they held in bondage. Yet, the depths of degradation didn't stop there. Moreover, enshrined in laws and upheld by systems of power, the institution of slavery perpetuated a cycle of cruelty and exploitation. The very laws of the land conspired against the enslaved, their humanity stripped away in the eyes of the law. From the codification of slavery's brutality in Virginia's laws, to the racial and class hierarchies woven into the fabric of society, the foundations of America were built upon the backs of those held in chains. However, as we delve into the depths of Black history, it's crucial to uncover the truths often glossed over in our education. How much of this reality remains hidden, concealed within the pages of sanitized textbooks? Have you ever questioned what you learned in school? Yet, as we confront the ongoing injustices faced by Black communities today, it's time to shine a light on the lesser-known aspects of our past. In this video, we'll unveil 8 poignant facts that illuminate the enduring impact of slavery on the fabric of American society. Let's get into it. Fact 1. The Perpetuation of Slavery. In 1662, a law in Virginia solidified the intergenerational bondage of enslaved people by decreeing that the status of a child followed that of his mother. The cruel measure ensured that enslaved women bore children who were born into a life of servitude, perpetuating the cycle of oppression. As slavery expanded across the nation, proponents of this institution found ways to maintain their grip on power. Nevertheless, groups like the American Colonization Society advocated for the repatriation of free Black people to Liberia. Yet, amidst this exploitation, wealth flowed into the pockets of European colonists and their descendants, while free Black individuals were systematically denied the ability to pass down their wealth to their children. Fact 2. The quest for freedom. Enslaved Africans torn from their homelands, harbored a fierce longing for freedom that persisted throughout their captivity. In September 1739, in South Carolina, a group led by an enslaved man called Jimmy seized a moment of bravery, rebelling against their oppressors. They marched with purpose, seeking liberty in Spanish Florida, where promises of freedom beckoned. Their bold stand, known as the Stono Rebellion, marked a significant moment in history, the largest slave uprising in the mainland British colonies. Lives were lost, dreams were shattered, as the rebels faced a brutal response. In the wake of the rebellion, fear gripped South Carolina's lawmakers, leading to harsh measures to suppress further dissent. The Negro Act of 1740 restricted assembly, education, and movement among the enslaved, casting a long shadow over their aspirations for freedom. The Stono Rebellion remains a poignant reminder of the enduring quest for freedom amidst the harsh realities of slavery in America. Fact 3. The Declaration's oversight. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence, a symbol of freedom, didn't extend its promise to the enslaved Africans and African Americans. Despite stating that all men are created equal and have inherent rights, it ignored those in bondage. Written by Thomas Jefferson, a slave owner, the initial draft criticized slavery, but this was removed due to pressure from delegates who owned slaves. This omission highlights a glaring contradiction in American history. A country founded on liberty, yet built on the backs of those in bondage. While some historians argue this decision shaped America's political and economic landscape, most would argue this affected the very existence of what it means to be an American. Fact 4. The brutal reality of slave breeding. From the 1830s to the 1860s, a fervent movement to abolish slavery in America gained momentum, spearheaded by courageous individuals like Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, William Lloyd Garrison, and Harriet Beecher Stowe. Yet, as the abolitionist cause surged forward, a sinister practice continued to thrive in the shadows: slave breeding. In the wake of the prohibition on the importation of slaves into the United States after 1808, slaveholders faced a dwindling supply of labor. To counteract this, they implemented a grotesque system of slave breeding, treating enslaved individuals as mere commodities to be used for reproduction. Enslaved women bore the brunt of this barbaric practice, viewed as valuable assets whose reproductive capabilities were exploited to satisfy the insatiable demands of their owners. Forced to bear children, their offspring were destined to a life of bondage, fueling the economic interest of their masters. Historical records may be scarce, but the testimonies of individuals like Frederick Douglass provided a chilling glimpse into the harsh realities faced by enslaved women. Their bodies were subjected to the most inhumane forms of exploitation, their humanity stripped away in the pursuit of profit to build a country for the free and the liberated. Fact 5. The expansion of slavery's empire. The national conversation surrounding slavery and freedom took on new dimensions as the demand for enslaved laborers surged. In 1794, Eli Whitney's invention of the cotton gin revolutionized the cotton industry, allowing for faster processing and increased productivity. With cotton reigning supreme as the king of crops, America emerged as a global economic powerhouse. However, this prosperity came at a cost. As the demand for cotton soared, the need for fertile land became increasingly pressing. In 1803, Thomas Jefferson brokered the Louisiana Purchase, acquiring vast swaths of territory from Napoleon Bonaparte for $15 million. This acquisition doubled the size of the nation and expanded America's empire of slavery and cotton cultivation. Yet, with the acquisition of new territories came the need for more labor. The abolition of the international slave trade in the United States created a shortage of workers, leading to a surge in domestic slave trade. An estimated 1 million enslaved individuals were forcibly relocated to the Deep South, where they toiled in cotton, sugar, and rice fields, fueling the economic engine of the expanding nation. Fact 6. The systemic oppression of slavery. As the demand for cotton surged and the nation expanded, slavery entrenched itself deeper into the fabric of American society. Enslaved individuals endured increasingly oppressive and regulated lives, their existence commodified to serve the interests of a burgeoning global power. The sale of enslaved people and the fruits of their labor propelled America to the forefront of the global economy and politics. Yet, behind this facade of prosperity lay a stark reality of brutality and dehumanization. Enslaved individuals were treated as mere commodities, hired out to increase their value, sold to settle debts, or passed down as inheritances to the next generation. The institution of slavery cast a wide net, ensnaring individuals from all walks of life. In the North, textile workers, bankers, and shipbuilders benefited from the products of slave labor, while in the South, the elite planter class reaped immense wealth at the expense of enslaved lives. Even yeoman farmers and poor white people found themselves caught in the web of slavery, unable to compete against the free labor system. Furthermore, the 1830s saw President Andrew Jackson's implementation of Indian removal policies, forcibly displacing indigenous peoples from their ancestral lands in pursuit of wealth and expansion. This tragic chapter in American history further underscores the ruthless pursuit of power at the expense of human lives and dignity. Fact 7. The triumph of abolition. As the grip of slavery tightened its hold on the nation, a groundswell of opposition, both moral and economic, began to take root. Interracial abolitionist movements gained momentum as enslaved individuals, free black citizens, and sympathetic whites united in their fervent crusade for freedom and equality. The nation stood at a crossroads, teetering on the brink of profound change. The election of Abraham Lincoln as president served as a catalyst, igniting tensions that had long simmered beneath the surface. In December 1860, South Carolina, citing Northern hostility towards slavery, seceded from the Union, setting off a chain reaction that would engulf the nation in civil war. For 5 long years, the country was torn asunder by the brutal conflict of the Civil War. Yet, amidst the chaos and bloodshed, the seeds of change were sown. And on a fateful day, 246 years after the arrival of the 20 and odd Negroes in Virginia, the 13th Amendment was ratified, forever abolishing slavery in the United States. In that moment, the nation's soul was transformed. No longer would America be defined by the shackles of bondage. Instead, it would strive towards a future where freedom and equality were not just ideals, but fundamental truths. Fact 8. The struggle for freedom. In the tumultuous aftermath of the Civil War, the newly freed men and women found themselves adrift, bereft of resources and opportunities, stripped of their lands and livelihoods. They wandered in search of sustenance, grappling with hunger, destitution, and uncertainty. Their plight was compounded by the implementation of black codes by Southern states, mirroring the oppressive laws of the antebellum era. These codes sought to restrict the movement of former slaves, coercing them into returning to plantation labor under conditions of virtual servitude, often for their former masters and at paltry wages. Amidst this dire situation, the federal government established the Freedmen's Bureau in 1865, providing essential aid to the newly emancipated. The Bureau distributed food, facilitated employment, and helped secure housing for those in need. It also played a pivotal role in establishing hospitals and schools, including esteemed institutions like Fisk University and Hampton Institute. Northern philanthropic organizations, such as the American Missionary Association, also extended a helping hand to the freedom, offering vital support in their quest for autonomy and dignity. As we reflect on the harrowing journey of Black Americans through the corridors of history, it's impossible to ignore the profound impact of slavery on the very soul of our nation. The scars of oppression, injustice, and inequality run deep, etched into the economic, political, and social fabric of the American society. The exploitation of enslaved labor propelled America to economic prominence, enriching a few while exacting a heavy toll on those held in the chains. Politically, the enduring legacy of slavery shapes power dynamics and informs policy decisions, perpetuating inequalities. Yet, the most tragic consequence lies in the social realm, where systemic racism and inequality continue to cast a dark shadow over our collective conscience, tearing at the fabric of our humanity. Finally, amidst the darkness, there is hope, for it is acknowledging and confronting the painful truths of our past that we can begin to heal and strive towards a more just and equitable future. Let's honor the resilience and the strength of those who fought for freedom, and let their legacy inspire us to build a society where all are truly equal and where the chains of injustice are forever broken.